I want to share with you what the end of these seasons look like. And the end of these seasons look like mayhem. The end of these seasons feel like, I know how else to say it, but dying. You're dying to yourself. You're dying to what you think things should be or the ways things should look like. It does not feel good. The end of a season, the beginning of a breakthrough doesn't feel good. In fact, you'll see that people that you thought would be one way or another, and opportunities that you thought would remain don't. And you're called out of things you thought you would never be called out of, at least not in the way that you were called out of it. And you have to go through this season and have to go through these last few, I don't know how else to talk about it, but trials in this season, understanding that when God calls you out of a thing, it is not because he does not have something better for you. I think some of the hardest parts of this journey as I've gone along and God has continuously showed me the promises that he has for me, the hardest part is not seeing the promise, but staying faithful anyway. Then I think a lot of people, they give up, and that's because God is testing you. He knows that if he gives you this promise and you're only there for the promise, you're going to leave him once you get the promise, or you're going to give up once the promise doesn't look like it's going to happen. And there was a point in this journey where I was ready to give up. I was ready to walk away from it. But I realized that my commitment was not to my Savior. My commitment was to the promise. And the promise didn't really matter or wouldn't be what I wanted it to be if it wasn't for God to begin with. And so it was a revelation God had given me. What are you here for? What are you here for? Are you here for me? Or are you here for it? And what I surrendered to was that it didn't really matter if my God wasn't present. If he wasn't in it, then what is it really? And so, y'all, from that realization, and it's funny because I now look back on the times and I see that night, that day when I made that decision, there was a time I woke up and it was a turn, a season. And it was a change in my commitment to walking heavy for God. And that called me into and out of things that I never really saw myself walking out of, confronting aspects of self that I didn't even know were wrong, and really walking into a new season where I'm willing to let go of things in a way I haven't before, willing to sacrifice in ways I didn't even know I could. And with that has come tremendous, not only responsibility, but blessing. And as I'm here entering into a new season, I'm confronted with the charge, I would say, of the lessons that I learned towards the end of that season. Because y'all, the end of that season, I can't tell you how many tests and trials and tests and trials. I mean, it was back to back to back. I called a lot of my friends that are also walking heavy, because family, you can't do this walk alone. You just can't. I mean, you try to do it on your own, but it's a challenge, and you really have to have people that are wanting to walk heavy. They don't have to be right where you are, but they are walking, and they're walking or they're running after Christ as well, because it's not easy. And God will strategically place people around you that are walking heavy too, because if you're not walking heavy, you can't speak the language. And so I had to fall on and call on the people that God has brought into my life for this season. And it was tough. There's many times in the journey where I just wanted to give up. I'm like, man, God, this is a lot. But I had a person in my life that just continuously said, you're going to finish this race. You're too close. You're too close. And as intercessors came into my life and gave me the strength that I didn't have, I was able to finish the race. I was able to finish the race of that season, of that chapter of my life. And I left that chapter, or I thought I left that chapter, feeling like there's more. And one of the first lessons I've learned in passing the test is that there's always a new one. You don't get out of a season with God and you just don't need him anymore. And I remember at a place in my life where I felt like that was not like real. Like, why am I not content? Like, why do I always feel like I got to ask God for things? And that's actually the point of this entire journey. The journey is not for you to get to a place where you don't need God anymore. You just get more aware of how much you need him in every other aspect of your life. And so I got to a place where I'm like, this dependency is actually a sign of growth. This dependency and understanding that in every aspect, whether it's getting my Facebook unlocked, which I still haven't been able to do, or bigger things that are affecting my day-to-day life, my dependency on God has increased in such a way that I understand the point of it was for me to understand my inadequacy. The point of me going through this journey was me understanding how much I need God. It's not just something that I pray for when things are way beyond my control. He's my first resort, not my last one. And so as I talk about these last 3 weeks, I tell you this, the end of a season is marked with trials and tribulations, meaning there's ups and there's downs. There's ups and there's downs. And you're almost trying to wait on life to get easier for you to have peace. And God is teaching you in this season that trials and tribulations mark not only the life of somebody who's following God, but mark the life of anybody who's walking this planet. It's marked by that, but you are able, through the power of the Holy Spirit, to have peace in the midst of a storm. That without God, you don't have that peace. Your life is up and down, and therefore you're up and down. But having a relationship with God is like having an insurance plan that, okay, yes, it looks like everything is going left. It looks like all these things that I had my security in, because what God does in these seasons is he uproots you from the things that you once put your security in, the things that you once found your identity in. He takes those things up and he removes those things so that you only have an identity. You only have your roots deep down in him, because he's the only thing that remains stable when everything else is up in the air. That you realize that the things that you once put your identity into are really not that stable. The relationships are not that stable. The job isn't that stable. The money isn't that stable. The family members, as much as you love them, are not that stable. You realize that the only thing that you can put your anchor in is God. And so that's what I learned in my season. That over time, people stopped speaking the language that I was speaking because it was foreign. Walking a real walk with God is foreign. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people. You're going to look weird. People are going to look at you like you've grown a third head. You're extreme. You're this, you're that. Okay, I hear all that. But y'all, what I've seen on the other side of this season, couldn't nobody around me make happen but God. He moved things, transformed things in ways that I cannot even imagine. And as I'm sitting here talking to you, family, I'm still waiting on God for a promise, for promises, really. I'm still waiting. But because I've seen God be so faithful, and because I've seen God how he ended a season of my life, I know it's coming. And so for some of you guys that are watching me, I want you to know it's coming. The promise is coming. The fulfillment of the promise that God has for you is coming. And I know that right now, just like in my own life, it looks like it's not happening at all. That nothing in your world even resembles a promise that you feel God has given you is going to happen. And that's the point, family. In fact, I found that during this season, I had counterfeit situations coming to me. And I started putting my hope in what I was seeing. And that's how the enemy gets us. Because in our world, we're off of evidence, what we see. So we put in hope in what we see. That's not faith. And so I started understanding that some of these counterfeit things that I thought were God, or thought was promise, or thought was this, because I was seeing it, I was putting my hope in it. And I was removing my hope for my hope being solely in God. Because God works in the unseen. The enemy works in the seen. And so we can get tripped up because now I see something that gives me hope, versus putting my faith in something that I cannot see And my hope is grounded in the character of who God is. Okay. And I don't know if that's a little too metaphysical. I'm going to try to break it down again. Part of what you have to understand about counterfeits, you always have to compromise with a counterfeit, number one. But number two, counterfeit opportunities, counterfeit people, counterfeit whatever. They're going to show you a lot on the front end, but it costs you a lot on the back end. I'm going to say that again. They're going to show you a lot on the front end. The security that they feed aspects of your flesh. Immediate, instant gratification, immediate validation. But on the backside, they cost. And so what I saw was that there was a situation that really got me, almost got me, like fully almost got me. But God kept showing me, wake me up at times, like investigate. This is not real. Like he just kept showing me like these numbers. He woke me up at times that represented investigate this, look into this. This is not me. This is without glory. Literally, it said investigate without glory. And here I am because I wanted to see the promise. I wanted to see this to mean that. I'm over here like, well, God is just saying that this means that. And I kept researching and putting my hope in what I was seeing. And God was showing me all throughout, like, nah, this ain't me. This ain't me. What I learned in that was that what God had for me was really in the unseen. It was hidden from me. Family, I can jump, and I know I'm getting excited before I really put out the message. God's promises to you are hidden on purpose. The promotion is hidden. It's not clear. He gives you clarity about what the promise is, but the path, the road, it is hidden. It is not something that you see. You just trust the direction. It's because if you think about the passages in scripture, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not into your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, he will make your path straight. Meaning that you don't see the path. He is making your path as you continue to go. There's a quote, I think Martin Luther King says, that you have to take the first step and then the next step appears. Like God doesn't give you, okay, well, you're going to go through this and then you're going to go through that and then you're going to go through this. Oh, and then you're going to go through that and then you're going to get there. Like, no, he says, okay, you take a first step. I'm going to give you a step, then you get another step, then you get So in this situation specifically, as I was getting closer to the end of the season and what I believe is to come, I was dealing with lots of warfare, lots of pressure. Family, even this past weekend, I'm gonna be honest with you, just lots of pressure. I felt like just pressure, my body, my spirit was tired. I just felt like I was warring in the spirit to the degree that I was exhausted. I literally didn't have anything left. Like I was just waking up at times, waking up in the middle of the night. I'm praying for hours. But I'm warring and I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm like, God, I don't know how much more I can give. And I'm feeling this pressure, this pressing, and nothing about my reality looks like what God is promising me. And I'm like, God, okay, what are you doing? But I've seen God be so faithful. So I know he's with me because I've seen him move. That's one of the things you have to know as you walk with God. There's going to be things that happen that God gives you to hold on to when you don't see it. And this is a part of your deepening your faith and your trust in him. So as I've gone through the month of June and I'm seeing different things happen and occur, and I'm like, okay, for every moment that is going the wrong way, God is showing me something that is without a doubt him. And that's what I hold on to. So when I'm in these moments of feeling listless and lethargic and like, God, I don't know if this is going to happen. The enemy's trying to make me say, what if, and what if, and what if? And I'm struggling with that. I'm fighting with myself. I'm trying to get past the mentality and say, you know what? It's in the unseen. You know what? I'm going to trust my spirit. You know, I'm seeing all these signs, these synchronicities, these things that just I cannot make up. So I'm like, God, I know you're doing something. I don't see it, but I trust you. And I have to remind myself of every moment that when I didn't see it and I saw these signs that God was moving. And so family, as I got closer and closer to where I'm at today, it became more about, at first it was exhausting. I mean, I'm telling you, crying, just let me tell you, the ante was up. The ante was up, family. the ante was up. I mean, it was, when I say ante was up, was I'm being punched, I'm being kicked. The enemy was, I mean, got scammed. A situation came up that was, I'm not going to reference here, but it was the situation was devastating to me. Then something looked like it wasn't going to happen, and I thought God told me this, and this was happening, and what am I going to do if this happens, and what if this isn't? And I'm like literally like this, just like it back to back to back, like just, I mean, I can't express it enough to you. It just felt like back to back to back. And I was losing what I felt or I thought was an opportunity. But what I learned and what I got from the spirit was saying, like, listen, that's actually working for you. Like, you look at that as you lost an opportunity. I'm showing you that this is actually working for your good. That sometimes, family, we don't understand that when we lose things and it feels like a Job season, when everything that you've held on to, everything that you have is being pulled away from you, you can get lost in your mind and start to think like, oh my goodness, like, is this all, like, what's going on? Like, and it's a Job season where God is just testing you. And so I want to encourage you, pass the test. That as I was warring and going through and going through and growing through and going through and growing through, what I found or what I felt in my spirit was God just saying, pass the test. Do you trust me? Pass the test. What does pass the test mean? That means that no matter what I was facing, no matter what it looked like in the physical, I was going to trust the promise.